Good morning, Year 6.
Good morning, Mrs. Sue.
And happy Friday.
Friday.
Today we are going to start with chapter 33, A Game of Cat and Mouse. It would be something of an understatement to say the woman was not happy. Aunt Alberta was furious. With boot polish on her face, bubbles foaming in her mouth, her red hair singed from the explosion, and ants wriggling about in her knickers, she charged upstairs to the attic. Alberta knew her niece must somehow be responsible. She burst through the door in an attempt to capture the girl red-handed. However, much to her surprise, Stella was exactly as Alberta had left her, fastened to the owl rack. On seeing her aunt's startled appearance, half-dressed, jerking around wildly, the girl couldn't help but giggle. "Oh, this is funny, is it?" asked Alberta, not expecting an answer. "No, it's not," replied the girl. "More hilarious." And with that, Stella hooted with uncontrollable laughter. Look at you. "Well, maybe you will find this hilarious," said the woman as she twisted the handle on the rack again and again and again. "Ah!" screamed the girl. "I don't see you laughing now." "No," said the girl through the pain, "but it's still funny." A fuming Alberta turned the handle again and Stella's arms and legs were yanked apart. Sadly, the trick hadn't worked. Alberta hadn't fled from Saxby Hall screaming. Instead, she was now on the warpath. "I know all those tricks were you, but how did you do it, child?" I tied you to this rack myself, and the door was locked from the outside. There was no escape." "I don't know what you're talking about," protested the girl. "You know exactly what I'm talking about," purred Aunt Alberta. She leaned over the niece's face and looked into her eyes. "I know you're lying." The woman paced around the attic, looking for clues. First, she peered out of the tiny window to see if anyone was dangling from the snowy ledge by their fingertips. Next, she tiptoed over to the huge oak cupboard that stood in the corner of the room. In the blink of an eye, she pulled open the door and was bitterly disappointed not to find anybody hiding there. Alberta stole a glance back at her niece, and without thinking, Stella looked over to the fireplace. Oh no! She had given herself away again. This was where Sut was standing, observing the game of cat and mouse. "So," hissed the woman, "I was right. There is a clue in the chimney." "Don't know what you mean," stuttered the girl. "You are a very bad liar, child." "No, I'm not," protested Stella before suddenly becoming mightily confused as to whether it was a good to deny being a bad liar. "You mean that meant you were a good liar?" "Yesterday, you were looking at the fireplace in the kitchen," continued Alberta. "There's a clue to all this. I know it." The woman sunk over to the fireplace. Invisible to her, Sut stepped out of the way. As she got down on her hands and knees to look up the chimney, the ghost came up with a plan. Sut rushed over to the cupboard. He squeezed behind it with all his strength and started pushing it towards Aunt Alberta. As the wooden feet of the wardrobe squeaked on the floorboards, the woman looked up, but it was too late. Sut toppled the cupboard over with a huge bump, and it hit her. It hit the floor, and it trapped her inside. Let me out of here at once!" came the voice, enraged from inside the wardrobe. "Top work, Sut!" exclaimed the girl. "Thank you, milady. Now get me out of this thing." As the cupboard twitched on the floor with Aunt Alberta flailing around beneath it, the ghost untied Stella's hand and feet from the owl rack. Wagner! Bellowed the woman as the pair fled down the stairs. Just as they reached the next stairwell, they ducked, and the giant owl skimmed their heads and on his way back up to the attic. As they reached the landing, Stella nearly ran slap bang into Gibbon. The butler was shaking hands with a pot plant and saying, "Do come and stay again, Major." "So, where now, milady?" asked Sut. "The garage," said the girl. "I've got an idea." Goodbye.